All right, welcome back to Keepin It Comic, and we got to talk about this here. There is a Moon Knight who killed Apocalypse, and it is just as wild as it sounds. Now, this story comes from the Phases of Moon Knight series here by Ben Percy, which is a series that will be diving into the history and the legacy of Khonshu's fist, and it dives into different Moon Knights from the past, present, and future. In this one in particular, we get a bit of Marc Spector. We also get a look here at Shroud as Moon Knight, and then we also get to meet the Moon Knight from way back in the year 1200 in England named Cassian, who killed Apocalypse. Now, Cassian starts out here as a simple man. He's poor and he spends his life serving the royals by tending to their pigs and sheep, providing meat and wool. Now, one day, a group of crusaders passes through recruiting men for their army. Now, when they spot Cassian, they look at him. They're like, yo, he's strong. He's in good shape. And then they force him into their ranks. Now, even though he doesn't believe in God or the cause, he swears his loyalty to God and King in order to be able to save his life. Now, for 3 years, Cassian marches thousands of miles, fighting in countless battles. Despite becoming a skilled warrior, he struggles with an inner conflict. He hates war and doesn't believe in the cause. He's like, yo, listen, I'm just killing so that the rich can get richer, and it basically eats him alive. So one day he's had enough, right? Cassian deserts the army without a word, and then he wanders into the desert. And as he walks, a brutal sandstorm hits. And it's so strong that it mentions that it's almost like it can tear his entire skin. So he collapses and loses consciousness. Now, when Cassian wakes, he finds himself inside an ancient temple or tomb with Khonshu's symbol etched into the floor. Costumes hang on the walls, and there's like this mysterious looking creature calling to him from some other place on the wall as well. Then we hear Khonshu's voice, right? It tells Cassian to step into the light. So Cassian, he listens, and as he walks through the light, he sees his entire life flash before him, past and future. And one of those visions was him killing Apocalypse. But there's a little bit of a catch, right? To have that future, Cassian must become Khonshu's avatar. Now, Cassian, this would have spent his entire life serving people that he doesn't believe in, so he says no. So then Khonshu releases him from the temple, but leaves him with the scarab just in case he ever changes his mind. Now, as Cassian treks through the desert here, he stumbles upon a gruesome scene. Bodies impaled on poles, some of which he recognizes as soldiers that he once fought alongside. So suddenly the scarab activates, right? Flying beyond the bodies, which basically have been arranged as like a fence to keep them away from what's really behind it. So following its path, Cassian finds a pyramid, and below it, people are working as slaves, cracked by whips. They're chanting in unison, "Ensabaner! Ensabaner!" And there, standing over them, is Apocalypse with a wicked grin that spreads all across his face. Now, Cassian, not knowing who Apocalypse is, comes up with a genius plan. Wait until nightfall and then he'll strike. So he sneaks up and then he swings his sword at Apocalypse. So what do you think happens? The sword breaks on impact. Apocalypse, with a single backhand, and this was actually kind of funny, with a single backhand, he sends Cassian flying. Now, Cassian, this dude is in some real trouble, right? Desperate, he turns to the only one who he knows can help, and that's Khonshu. So he pulls out the scarab and he pleads, "I am yours if you help me." Man, that was a pretty terrible English accent there. Let's just move on here. So Cassian realizes that to defeat a monster, that he must become one himself. And I won't lie, seeing this like year 1200 version of like a Moon Knight suit, it's weird as heck. It kind of works. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of like stuck in the middle here. Now, finally, empowered, right, with Khonshu's power, Cassian goes toe-to-toe with Apocalypse. Now, according to the ancient glyphs here in a forgotten temple, the battle raged all night long. And then when dawn broke, or I think it was actually nighttime, Cassian stands victorious atop the temple, now a tomb, as they say, holding Apocalypse's head in his hands. But as the people kneel before him, chanting, "Khonshu, Khonshu, Khonshu," one thought basically kind of haunts him here. He's like, yo, did I just become the very thing that I hated? So listen, I like this little story here. There were some other ones that were listed here in this issue. They weren't really very good. But what do you think about Cassian, a previous Moon Knight here, the killing Apocalypse? Something that might piss some of you guys off, but I thought it was an interesting little written story here. I look forward to them telling us a little bit more here about some of the other Moon Knights. Like and subscribe here to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And until next time, and as always, thanks so much for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic.